Hello everyone, and today we are building a balloon pop game. So we are going to use a Python programming language along with PyGame library. PyGame library is a set of tools to help programmers make games. Using PyGame library, you can work with graphics and animation. You can add sounds or control keyboard, mouse presses as part of your game. But before we start building our game, we need to install our PyGame library. I already have PyGame installed, but for those who doesn't have, you open your console and you type pip install PyGame. Enter. For me it says requirement already satisfied because I already have a PyGame installed. Next step, as part of building our balloon pop, we will be using some images. This is a balloon image. Also set the background, and we use a pop image. Once we click on balloon, it will pop. And a hit sound. That's the hit sound we'll hear once we click and our balloon pop. You can download those images from description link below. So now we create our game file. So let's name it game.py. As we discussed, we are going to use the PyGame library. So the first thing we do, we import PyGame. We also need to do a few more imports from pygame.locals, import stuff, and we also import a random function. Random, as we will use some random position of our balloon. The next step, we need to initialize our PyGame. PyGame.init, and of course we need to quit. PyGame.quit. PyGame.quit always will be our last line. So now let's try to understand the game structure. Game loop. What is a game loop? This loop is constantly running over and over again, doing all the things what we need to make our game run. So each time the game goes through this loop, it calls a frame. The main program loop will contain three main sections. So inside our game loop, we will have three main sections. It would be capturing events. So our game loop will be constantly listening for user input and react to those. What is a user input? User input is simply pressing on a keyboard or clicking a mouse. So our game loop will be listening for those events. After that, we have a game logic. Okay, let's say event has happened. Mouse was clicked. We need to add some game logic. If we want to address this mouse click and we want our program, our game to do something on a mouse click, we will add it in our game logic section. And a third part is refreshing the screen. Every time our game goes through a game loop, it needs to refresh a screen to redraw a stage. Let's say the balloon has been popped, so we need to redraw the stage and to create a new balloon appears. So the main program loop will also use a frame rate to decide how often should the program complete the loop, refreshing the screen per second. For that we add a variable and we call it clock equals PyGame clock, and at the refreshing the screen, let's say clock So it means it should refresh 30 screens per second. But before we can add a clock, we actually need to create this main game loop. To create a game loop, we introduce a new variable running equals true. By default, we say game is running. And next, we create this game loop while running, and all our capturing events, game logging, and refreshing the screen should be inside this while loop. So basically this clock.tick is inside while running. So here we say clock. Now we take PyGame dot time dot clock. So now if we run it, we can see hello from PyGame community. This is a good sign. We still need to define our screen and create a window. After we define our game loop, let's define a screen and set size of our screen width. We'll add a screen width 900, and we add a screen height. Let's do 900 as well. Now we need to initialize our screen equals PyGame dot display dot set underscore mode and double round brackets screen width comma screen height. So now we want to add a background color. To add a background color to our screen, we adding one line under the refreshing the screen section. Screen dot fill, and the color we want to fill, I'll set it to yellow. And one more line of code in order to update our screen. PyGame dot display dot update. So this command will allow to update our screen. Now I'm running a game and you see a yellow screen, but at this stage we still can't properly close it because we didn't implement the exit functionality. At this stage I need to terminate it. To create a proper exit functionality, we need to add some piece of code under the capturing events. Once the game loop is running, it constantly listening for events. We will iterate through all the events of a PyGame and we will find the exit event. For event in PyGame dot event dot get, so we are getting all the PyGame events, and after that we are looking for a specific quit event. If event dot type equals quit, if it's a quit event, basically you're pressing on the quit button, we're changing the state of our game from running equals true to running equals false. Running equals false. I'm running our game once again. Now if I click on the exit button, the game is closed successfully. The next step, I would add some background picture. On the top of my yellow background, I want to add background picture. First of all, I need to load my picture. Load background. I'll be using this bg.png picture. And I load it first. I'll name it bg equals PyGame dot image dot load, and we specify the image name. Our image name is bg.png. And refreshing the screen, we're adding one more line of code, and this line of code is screen dot bleed. Bleed command allows us to display the image. Bleed, and here I say what I want to display. I want to display my background image, and we name it bg. The second parameter here is where exactly we want to display the coordinates. So we will display it at x and y coordinate. X coordinate, let's say it's 0, 0, and we'll see our display. Yeah, it displayed at the top. But I want it to be a bit up. That's why instead of 0, 0, I'll say I want it to be on the screen height minus 200. Our screen height is 900. Okay, it will display it at the bottom. And I'll add one more picture exactly same. I want to add it at the top, minus 100. Yeah, so I have my background picture at the bottom, and I have the same background picture at the top. Okay, so now it's time to add balloon. I'll be using my green balloon. Same way, first we need to load our image of balloon. I'll name it balloon. PyGame image dot load, and the image name is balloon.png. But for my balloon picture, I would need to know location of my balloon. Balloon underscore location. And how can I define location? The first, I will get a rectangle of the image. Balloon dot get rect. It will get a rectangle of my image. And after that, I need to know a center of my image. Where would be a center of my image, and where will I place it? So I'll say balloon location dot center equals. I'll place it in the middle of my screen. That's why I say screen width divided by 2, and screen height divided by 2. That's my default location. Now I need to load it the same way as we done with the background. In the refreshing the screen section, I'm adding one more line, saying screen dot bleed. Just bleed command will display our image, and now I'll display my balloon image. That's the image, balloon, and I need to set position, balloon double L, and my location position would be balloon location, balloon underscore lock. Now we're running our game once again, and you can see there is a balloon in the middle of the screen. That's the initial position of balloon. The next step, we are going to make our balloon fly. So basically our balloon needs to move up. This piece of code we will be adding under the game logic over here. How we can make our balloon fly? Nothing else as changing a y coordinate of our balloon. So basically balloon location, and a y coordinate is represented by 1. If you want to change x coordinate, it would be balloon location 0, And if we want to change y coordinate, it would be balloon location 1. And as we're moving our balloon up, we want our y coordinate decrease it. So basically minus equals, let's decrease it by 1. Running our, okay, and can you see balloon is moving up? It's moving quite slow. But once balloon moved outside of our screen, it never appears again. So we need to improve our logic for balloon to appear once again after our line. We're adding an if statement saying if balloon location 1, basically it's y coordinate, if y coordinate is outside of our screen, so basically a whole balloon disappears, less 1 minus 100. Minus 100 would be outside of our screen. If balloon is outside of our screen, we want it appear back from the bottom of the screen. So we're changing our balloon location. Screen height minus 100. Yeah. So the screen height minus 100. So we want it appear from outside of our screen, and let's test it out. Okay, I'll make balloon to fly faster. I'll increase this value to 5. Okay, now it flies faster. Once it disappears, you can see it's appearing again. It's appearing again. Can you see there is no challenge in this game? If balloon appears at the same spot, at the same position, there is no challenge. So next step we're going to do, we're going to change the x coordinate. Every time balloon appears again, we want it to appear on a different position. So once balloon disappears, we want it to appear from the bottom of the screen, but on a random x coordinate. So we're also changing the x coordinate of balloon. Balloon location, so now we're changing a 0. 0 is the x coordinate. And for 0, we want it to be random. That's why we will be using a random library. Random dot rand int. Our screen width was 900. It means we want balloon to appear. Where's my line of code? So I won't set it from 0, because if it appears on a 0, we won't be able to see it. Let's say it will appear, we want to see at least a half of balloon. So let's put it 10 to screen width minus 10. So we still want to see a little bit. Now we test it out, and we see balloon is flying up, and next time it appears on a different location. Now it flies up and it appears over here. Every time it will be a different location. We've got a balloon, our balloon is flying up, and once it's outside of a screen, it appears back from a different location. So the next thing we need to do, we need to do some actions on the mouse click. So we want to click on a balloon, and we want this balloon disappear. So at this stage, we will add more code under our capturing events. We start from the same position as as our first event, because we still iterating from list of all events. So now we will be looking for a different type of event. We will be looking for a mouse button down event. So we're saying if event dot type equals mouse button down, uppercase, mouse button down. So if we clicked on a mouse and our mouse position, once we clicked on the mouse, we need to get a mouse position. Mouse underscore position equals PyGame dot mouse dot get position. So we want to know position of our mouse, and we want to compare if position of our mouse is inside of our balloon. Yeah, so we want to know if we clicked on a balloon or we missed. So here we define if there was a collision or it wasn't a collision. So I'll create a new variable and name it collide equals. So now we want to see if our balloon location dot collide point and if it was a collision with our mouse position X, it's 0 position, and mouse position Y, it's 1. So, and if we clicked on a balloon, this variable should be true. We're saying if collide is true, then we need to display our balloon once again. We need to display our balloon once again. But we need to display our balloon once again from beginning of a screen. So let's test it out and see. Okay, if I click on it, you can see balloon appears again, appears again, appears. Every time I click, it appears again. Okay, it works. So now we want to replace the image. Once we click, we want to see a pop. Balloon pops, and then it appears again from the bottom of the screen. Let's add more improvement to our collision logic. And once we click on the balloon, we want it to display our pop image. That's the image we want to display. Same way we need to load this image. Pop equals PyGame dot image dot load pop dot png pop dot png, and if collision is happened, if a mouse clicked on a balloon, we want to replace our image from balloon image to our pop image. It's screen. Under the if collide, we're adding one more line, screen dot bleed, and we replace the image. Pop, it's a pop image. So now we need to say location. Location would be the same location as our current balloon location. So it's balloon underscore log. And once we change the image, we need to update our screen. PyGame dot display dot update. We also need to set some delay. Clock dot tick, say 7. Otherwise, this image changing would be so quick we won't even see it's happening. Running my game, and let's see. Can you see there is a is image change. Once I click and balloon popped, I want to play a sound. After our images, I need to load the sound. Hit sound equals PyGame dot mixer dot sound, and our sound name is hit dot play. So we loaded our sound. Now we want to play this sound just right here before our delay. To play it, it's PyGame dot mixer dot sound. Name of the sound is hit sound, and play. Testing it. Okay, sound, I misspelled it somewhere. Sound, what was it? Misspelling. Yep. Can you hear the sound? Every time we click on balloon, should be a sound. Okay, and our final step is to add a score. Every time we click and pop balloon, we want to increase our score, and every time we missed and balloon flies up, disappears from the screen, we want to decrease our score. Adding new variable and name it score. By default, we assign score 0. If collision is happened, we increase our score to 1. Score plus equals 1. And we scrolling down, and if our balloon disappears off the screen, we decrease our score minus 1. And now we need to display this score on our screen, on our game window. First, we initialize PyGame text, PyGame dot font dot init, and we select a font, my font equals PyGame dot font dot sys font. Define a font name. I'll use Comic Sans MC. And then you define the size of a font. Let's make it 30. And to display it, I'll display it right after we define our background. I'll display our, say, score underscore text equals my font dot render, and we'll say your score, and we append a value of the score, convert it to string score. We need to add the extra parameters here. Color is black, and the next step, we need to display it using bleed screen dot bleed text, score text, and position of our score. Let's make it 30, make it lower to 100, a bit lower, 150. Okay, can you see a score? And we not clicking on balloon, score will decrease by 1, and if we click on balloon, you can see score will increase by 1. This is how to create a very simple balloon pop game using a PyGame library. If you want to do more improvements, make sure you watch the next video where we add multiple balloons and we increase our speed gradually to make it more challenging. I hope you enjoy this tutorial, and I'll see you next time. Bye!